Labour is absolutely sick in the head as they are apparently making moves to block a ban on first cousin marriages. Well, they obviously need to make sure they don't offend the Muslims here. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video I'm going to discuss how Labour are now sick in the head, and by making moves to block a ban on first cousin marriages they are effectively making incest legal and condemning the offspring of these marriages to a world of severe medical defects. Now do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and as a disclaimer, I'm not inciting hatred to anyone or a particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into it with this. Thanks to Lee Harris at Addicted to News for sharing this. And yeah, this over 2-minute clip is excruciating to watch. Now I'm just going to show you the first minute of this. And here you've got Camilla Tomini, and if I've mispronounced that I apologise, asking a very simple question really at the end of the day. Do you think first cousins should be allowed to marry legally in this country? Check out his response.
So Keir Starmer has indicated that Labour is going to block a legal ban on first cousins being able to marry in England and Wales. Why is that? Is the Prime Minister in favour of interbreeding?
Simple question. Is the Prime Minister in favour of interbreeding? Or do you know what? I'll call a spade a spade at the end of the day. Is the Prime Minister in favour of incest? Because it is. It's literally being extremely intimate and sleeping with a family member. First cousin. What the deuce? Check out his response.
Look, I'm not aware of him being so definite on that.
So you will block this?
You know, I think these issues arise. You know, I don't, think we're going to adopt that position on this question.
Sorry, what position are you adopting on first cousins marrying? What position is Labour adopting on the issue of whether first cousins should marry in England and Wales? Should they or shouldn't they?
It's a very simple question. Why the hell is he finding it difficult to answer? So Camilla gives him a second opportunity. See how he wastes this.
Well, I don't think we're planning a legal change on whatever the current position is on that at the moment. Not that I'm aware of.
So at the moment, it's not legally banned for first cousins to marry in England and Wales, despite the obvious health implications of interbreeding.
This is the thing. She calls it interbreeding. Again, let's be very, very clear on what this is. This is incest. This is incest. This is being intimate, physically and emotionally, with a family member, a close family member. We're talking first cousins here. This is incest. Now, Camilla also points out a very, very good argument why this should be illegal, why marrying your first cousin in the UK should actually be made illegal, because there are medical implications to all of this. So, what am I talking about here? Guys, this is a real-life horror movie happening in real time right now. So this is an article from the BBC. And there's researchers at Bradford University that are entering their 18th year in what's called the Born in Bradford study. It's one of the biggest medical trials of its kind between 2007 and 2010. Researchers recruited more than 13,000 babies in the city and then followed them closely from childhood into adolescence and now into early adulthood. Now, they found that more than 1 in 6 children in the children have parents who are first cousins, mostly from the Bradford's Pakistani community. which is why I said right at the beginning, Labour is sick in the head as they're making moves to block a ban on first cousin marriages, because they obviously need to make sure that they don't offend the Muslims here, because the majority of these marriages are within the Muslim population. What a surprise that Labour wants to make a move to block a ban on first cousin marriages. So, in the data published, researchers found that first cousin marriages and parents that are first cousins between them have wider consequences than previously thought. And so here, the most obvious way that a pair of blood-related parents might increase health risks for a child is through a recessive disorder like cystic fibrosis or sickle cell disease. So when first cousins marry and they interbreed, right, they have a higher chance of producing offspring that medically is not right. Again, let's call a spade a spade. It's not right. They have a higher chance of producing offspring that will develop things like cystic fibrosis or sickle cell disease, which that will put even more strain on the NHS. They can't cope as it is already, the NHS. And here we've got families, we've got first cousins marrying, they're interbreeding, as Camilla is putting it, right? Producing offspring where they've got a higher chance of producing offspring that are going to have severe medical issues, which the NHS then has to take care of. It has wider implications, first cousin marriages. This is why I do believe they do need to be banned. First and foremost, I think it's a form of incest. And secondly, again, they have a higher percentage of producing offspring whereby medically they have issues that's going to put even more strain on the NHS. And so here, according to the classic theory of genetics laid out by the biologist Gregor Mendel, if both parents carry a recessive gene, then there's a 1 in 4 chance that their child will inherit the condition. And when parents are cousins, they're more likely to both be carriers. A child of first cousins carries a 6% chance of inheriting a recessive disorder compared to 3% for the general population. So first cousins and their offspring are twice as likely to develop a severe medical condition compared to parents that are not related whatsoever. This is why I'm saying Labour's sick in the head. Labour is sick in the head. Not only, as far as I'm concerned, do they want to make incest legal, but they're happy for these first cousin marriages to produce offspring where it's twice as likely for this offspring to be completely condemned for the rest of their lives with severe medical issues that they wouldn't have got, or less likely to have got, let's say, if this offspring was born between parents that weren't related. Now, let's get into this a little bit more. So, here, children of first cousins are likely to experience the worst outcomes. So here, probability of reaching a good stage of development, 53.7% of children from first cousins, 64% not related. Probability of having speech and language difficulties, 11.3% from offsprings from first cousins, 7.4% from offspring between people that aren't related. Now, this study found that even after factors like poverty were controlled for, because people might argue, well, you know, poverty can impact all this, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? If you take poverty out, it's still bad. It's still bad. A child for first cousins in Bradford had an 11% probability of being diagnosed with speech and language problems versus 7% for children whose parents are not related. They also found, again, taking out factors like poverty and whatnot, that a child of first cousins has a 54% chance of reaching a good stage of development versus 64% for children whose parents are not related. I mean, we're not talking like 1-2% difference here. We're talking a massive margin between children born of first cousins and children that are born to adults that are not related. This is massive, massive difference between the two. We also look at, in this study, the number of visits that are made to the GP. Children of first cousins have a third more primary care appointments than children whose parents are not related. So, children that are not related, they'll go to the GP on average 3 times a year. Whereas for children that are born to cousins, 4 times a year. The study then says what's also notable, that even once you account for the children in that group who already have a diagnosed recessive disorder, the figures just suggest that consanguinity may be affecting even those children who don't have a diagnosable recessive disorder. And yeah, I am saying, as far as I'm concerned, that first cousin marriages, and as Camilla says, interbreeding, for me is incest. Because here, Google states, cousin marriage is an important topic in anthropology and alliance theory. In some cultures and communities, cousin marriages are considered ideal and are actively encouraged and expected. In others, they are seen as incestuous and are subject to social stigma and taboo. So, me all along saying that first cousin marriages is a form of incest. Yeah, it is. It is. Incest, right, is intimate relations between 2 members of the same family. You've got a first cousin female, a first cousin male. They get married. They interbreed. They're from the same family. If it's not incest, then what is it? As far as I'm concerned. They're from the same family. What the deuce? Labour is sick in the head. They're making moves to block a ban on first cousin marriages, regardless of the medical implications that arise from first cousin marriages from their offspring. But obviously, they need to make sure they don't offend the Muslims here, right? Because as the study shows, the majority of the offspring that they studied from first cousin marriages was from the Pakistani community. To me, if they block a ban on first cousin marriages, ultimately, they're making incest legal in my eyes. Do you think that's right? I know I don't. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and believe me, of course, there's going to be more, you do not want to miss my next video, then make sure you subscribe to join our Ultra Nerd tribe here at Political Nerds. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatevers. Do you think there should be a ban in the UK on first cousin marriages? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.